guys, it's Jordan. So every time I post an Instagram photo, I always get questions about how I take and edit my photos. And I thought it might be fun if I bring you guys along on my process of taking photos and then editing them, just to show you exactly how I do it. The equipment I use is just my Canon T3i, or sometimes my phone, which works great if you guys don't have a camera. And then I just use natural lighting. I don't have any lighting setups, I just use the sun coming in through my windows, and that usually makes the best photo. This is just going to show you the way that I take and edit photos. There's so many different ways that you can do photography, and there's not necessarily one right way. This is just going to show you how I do it personally. So if you want to achieve a different look, you can always look up other tutorials, but if you want to see the way that I do my photos, then keep watching. First, I'm going to show you guys some ideas for props you can use in your photos. These are just to make your photos a little bit more interesting. They're not necessarily going to be the focal point of the photo, but just to add a little bit of dimension or make the picture less plain than it would be otherwise. Books, notebooks, magazines, anything like this, they're really great props in your photos, especially if they have pretty covers like this one, or even the plain covers are great to place things on top of. So you can just look through your book collection and see what you have that would look good in a photo. Little things that are pretty, like flowers or crystals, are great to have in your photos, especially because crystals catch the light and that can look really nice, or the sequins. And these little gold stars, you guys know I use these tiny stars and everything. These just look really good if they're in the background of your photo, kind of blurred out, or to add some interest to an otherwise plain photo. Sometimes I'll just go around my room and find things that have nice packaging to put in my photos. So a lot of times that's like perfume bottles, like this one. But yeah, anything that has a nice label that will look great in a photo. And then office supplies are also great to have in your photos, especially if you are taking photos of your planner or journal. This goes really well with that theme. Really, you can just go around your room and find little things that you have lying around that would look good in a photo, like even your glasses or a bandana or something like that. Now for backgrounds, I usually use my bed because I have a white duvet and I really like having a white background in my photos. And I also like how the fabric is kind of textured, so it gives the photo a little bit of dimension, but you could use a poster board in white or whatever color you want. You could use your desk, a rug or blanket. Whatever you have, just go around the house and see what looks best for the background of your photo. I recently made this white wooden background for my photos and videos, and this was super easy to do. If you're interested, I just drilled boards together and then painted it, and I really like how this turned out. For my first example, I think I'm going to use a past spread in my planner and show you guys how I would photograph this. This is the first composition that I put together, and my process for laying all this stuff out is pretty much just trial and error. I just start laying things down and then seeing what looks good with it and where the placement looks best. I try to create a balanced composition where it's not too heavy on one side, unless I want to go for that look. It, again, depends on the photo, but I just play around with it and see what looks best. Another thing to think about for the composition is if you want the objects in the photo to go outside of the frame of the picture, or if you want it all contained within the frame like I did here. I've gone for a pretty minimal photo here. I just wrote down a quote on my notebook, and then I set up a few little props, but I wanted to keep this pretty plain. I wanted to do an example against a dark background, so this is actually just my desk chair, and again I set up another minimal photo, but it's against a dark background instead of a white one. For photos like my last Instagram picture that have my hand in them, I set my camera up on a tripod and use a self timer to take the picture. Now I'm going to show you guys how I edit my photos. Also, I apologize, the audio is going to change because I'm going to talk into a microphone for this part of the video. So once I've chosen all my photos, I will select them all and open them in the RAW editor. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I shoot all my photos in RAW. But if you shoot in JPEG, you can still do these same edits with just Photoshop. It won't open in the RAW editor, but Photoshop has the same tools. It will just be a slightly different way of getting to them, but you can look up how to do that if you're interested in that. But I'm going to show you my process with my RAW photos. I'll start with this first one, and I'm going to bring up the exposure a bit because it's pretty dark. Then I'm going to adjust the black and white points. And to do this, I'm going to hold down the Option key and then bring the black slider over until I start to see just a few lines on the screen. Do the same with the white, bring it over just until I see some dots showing up. And this just makes the blacks more black and the whites more white. And the photo is looking just slightly greenish, so I'm going to bring this tint over to the right a bit and make the temperature a little bit cooler. Then I'm going to go to my adjustment brush, and with an exposure of about 0.35, we'll start with that. I'm going to lighten up some areas of the photo that are a little too dark. So this is my basic editing process. If I want to give the photo a certain look, I will bring it into Lightroom and do a more in-depth editing. Or if I really don't feel like spending much time on editing, I'll actually just send the photo to my phone and use an app like VSCO. So just to show you quickly how I edit photos in VSCO, I'm sure you already know how to use it, but I'll just show you my way of doing it. So I'll upload the photos and then open them. And the filters that I like the best are A6, HB2, and SE3. So I'll choose one depending on how I want the photo to look. I think I like HB2 for this photo. And then sometimes I go in and do some more edits, but since I did already edit this on the computer, there's not usually that much that I need to do here. I think I might make the temperature a little bit warmer. And I really like how that photo looks, so I don't think I'm going to do much more, but that's pretty quickly an overview of what I do on VSCO. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you out if you had any questions about how I take and edit my Instagram photos. And I just want to remind you guys that you don't need to have a fancy camera, you don't need to have taken photography classes or have any skills whatsoever to take photos. If you want to start doing photography, then just go out there and shoot. Just enjoy the process, enjoy taking photos, try not to compare yourself to others. I know that's so easy to do on Instagram, but as long as you're having fun with it, that's really all that matters. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I hope you got something out of this video, or at least enjoyed watching it. So I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.